Walt Whitman spent his lifetime revising his most famous body of work, Leaves of Grass. In 1855, it was made up of only 12 poems, but his deathbed edition of 1891 encompassed over 400. His collection was made manifest in multiple editions between that span, reflective of revision, addition, and omission throughout those 36 years. Whitman was a consummate self-promoter, a shapeshifter, morphing from one of the roughs to the good gray poet. He knew how images shape identity, how words shape us, and how time changes perspective. Still, some things endure.
I celebrate myself and sing myself. And what I assume, you shall assume. For every atom belonging to me, as good belongs to you.
You shall no longer take things at second or third hand.
Nor look through the eyes of the dead, nor feed on the specters in books.
You shall not look through my eyes either, nor take things from me. You shall listen to all sides and filter them from yourself.
I see her face. Author of 2 books. Pastor, mother, marriage counselor, former Miss UMES, public speaker, fitness guru. The list goes on and on. Her lips protrude like mine. Her smile causes her cheeks to come up so high that they close, just like mine. She throws her head back when she's laughing, just like I do. But the resemblance... When I was a kid, even now, people would always tell me that I looked just like my mother. They said that I was her twin. Back then, she protected little old me from everything. If I fell and scratched my knee, she would come running with Neosporin and Minnie Mouse Band-Aids, ready to stop my tears. When Devin from the 6th grade broke my heart, she took me out for ice cream and told me boys have cooties anyway. When I turned 18 last January, I was not that little girl anymore. Life is now overwhelming, and it's time for me to decide what I want and fast. That loving mother I once knew threw me out into the world and told me do great things, and to be better than her and my father ever were, as if I have a single clue as to how to do that. I struggle to see the greatness my mother expects from me. I feel as if I were pushed out into center stage, but instead of a spotlight, I'm being chased down by the shadow man like Tiana. Am I ready? I don't know. How do I live my life with such big shoes to fill? I may look like her, but I will never be her. I'm me. 46 chromosomes, 6 of the elements, with cells that continuously divide. I have goals and aspirations as big as Mount Everest. I have mahogany brown eyes, a big brown nose with large lips to match. I like fries with just ketchup, and I hate the smell of freshly cut grass. I snore when I laugh, and I love the We Are Farmers commercial. I may not be an author, or a counselor, or even a future PhD graduate, and I might turn out to be completely normal, or just another person that live here on Earth. But there will only ever be one Ariana. One me. That's it. Like my mother or not, I am enough.
These are the curves of a life well lived. A woman comfortable in her own skin. And what's more, I'll smile if I feel like it. And if I don't, I won't. But I may still let you into my world, to my heart, to my mind. These are the legs of one who likes the soft ground underfoot. the oval of an asphalt track. But when I was 8, before my curves, playing around the lake with my neighbor Elijah, he tried to outrun me. "I'ma beat you," he said. The flash of motion, plastic barrettes clacking, 2 braids flying out. I was running too, legs strong, covering ground, closing in on him, almost at the shore of the lake. He wouldn't be able to say I ran like a girl. I called out, "I'm not racing," and sailed past him, finally stopping at the Littlefoot Bridge where the old men stood fishing, gaping at me and all. I wasn't running to win. It was pleasure. These are the eyes that shine. The eyes of one who knows how to dive into life, to water, to the plate at the picnic, and to the lion dance after. To that stack of books because I long to absorb it all. The curve of my head is a thing of beauty, holding a brain that is a thing of capability. The aspect of my neck is regal. The curve of my cheek is lovely, and the swell of my breast is fulsome. And the strength in these arms is, as of all women, unbounding. And like my mama's hug, the body that gives and gives and gives. If I'm 20 or if I'm 80, when the upper arms get soft and round and move even when I barely move, they are the arms that will embrace it all. But there are no arms that can hold me from what I want to do. None that mighty. So don't shame me. No shade will hold me back. This is my home. Where I am, I make my home because I know who I am. These are the curves of one who knows her place. The world.
Welcome is every organ and attribute of me, and of any man hearty and clean. Not an inch nor a particle of an inch is vile, and none shall be less familiar than the rest.
I am of old and young, of the foolish as much as the wise, regardless of others, ever regardful of others.
Maternal as well as paternal, a child as well as a man. Stuffed with the stuff that is coarse and stuffed with the stuff that is fine.
One of the nations of many nations, the smallest the same, and the largest the same.
I remember the time my grandfather and his wife came over to my house when I was younger. They had brought clothes shipped from Africa for my sister and brother and I to try on. My sister and brother, being as slim as they were, slid perfectly into their outfits like a bowling ball sliding to a strike. My brother and sister ran into the living room to show off their outfits. I strutted into the living room, strutted, "Look at me, look at me." I was a happy kid, full of smiles, innocent, who was chubby. I didn't realize it at the time. My bilingual mother always spoke to us in her language so that we could understand when family members came around. My sister caught on fast and could even respond back, but my brother and I, not so much. I can't speak it, but I can understand it perfectly. My grandfather's wife said this, "Alexis iyo ferachno, makanes alibat," which means Alexis is getting fat, she should lose weight. In her language, the language my mother taught us to understand growing up. My mother always told me that kids remember everything, and in fact, we do. I hate her for that. I hate her for making me feel fat and for saying that in front of everyone. She never knew I understood or even that I remember her words, always. I started to become sad, starve myself, throw my food away, anything not to be fat anymore. I wanted to run away from my own body, hide away forever. That was body shaming, pure and simple. I'm 19 now. Fat is thick, skinny is thin. All together in any form, they mean beautiful. Words are power, and I'm taking my power back.
My body is not a museum. Somewhere you can toy your way around. My body is not a monument, something you can burn to the ground. My body is a church, a celestial, and a sacred thing. And if you're not here to worship, then you're not coming in.
Divine am I inside and out, and I make holy whatever I touch or am touched from.
The scent of these armpits, aroma finer than prayer, this head more than churches, Bibles, and all the creeds.
If I worship one thing more than another, it shall be the spread of my own body or any part of it.
When I was 7 years old, I wanted to be like Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis comes up the middle, and it's all over. It's a Hall of Fame play. That's where he'll be in 5 or 6, 7, 8 years, whenever he decides to retire.
I wanted to be on TV every Sunday under them bright lights and on that freshly cut green grass. I want to make those big third down plays to end the game and be a part of that crazy #1 defense in the league.
There's no mountain I can't climb when I'm on a football field.
But I was a chubby kid on the block. I hated my body because I wasn't as fast as everybody else. I couldn't jump gates or ride a bike. I loved sports, and I loved watching them. I was too scared because of how I looked, and I didn't want people to make fun of my size. Then, I discovered Kelly Gregg. He was big and wasn't fast, but everybody loved him and he loved the game. So I told my dad I wanted to play football, and he was happy. When I was 7, I played my first game for the Leland Vikings. I loved playing. I got a lot of hits and a sack. I finally felt happy about myself and how I looked. Everyone in my hood recognized me and wanted to talk to me and watch me play more. I continued to play for a couple more years until I suffered a bad hip injury. And my football career came to a halt. After my injury, I stopped working out and being active. I was back to square one and didn't like my body until I fell in love with clothes and shoes and learned a new way to love my body. I started to use my mind and developed a brand called DSW to focus on self-love. DSW stands for The Shiner Way. Some people think a shiner is a cool person with all the money, the girls, and chains, but no. A shiner is someone that loves themselves and don't care about what people think about them. I don't have posters on my walls anymore. I don't look to anyone else. The person I want to be now is me.
In the 6th grade, my chest became swollen. And I thought it was the homework monster that finally caught up to me. I was ashamed because I knew I was becoming a woman. I was so embarrassed about my body, of even being a girl. The word period made me laugh. When I got mine, I had to figure it out all on my own. My mother's only contribution was telling my father. In the back of my head, I knew my father wanted sons. Too bad he was blessed with 4 beautiful girls. He said we are better than many sons, but I don't believe it. I think that's why I act so boyish. After the whole period thing, I noticed that my boobs became bigger every time I had my period. I wish they would stay plump and ripe like apples instead of shrinking back into cherries. The girls in my class carried melons. They say that milk is the key to bigger boobs. I hate milk, but I drank it every chance I could. No apples, no melons, only cherries. One time I had a crush. We were childhood friends. We grew up together. But I guess there wasn't enough growth for me to compete with. the girls he was aiming for carried apples or melons. Once he told me I was too young for him. And he was right. I couldn't compete with that. If I didn't notice people's boobs before, he made me notice them now and after that. That incident made me so jealous and insecure that I would only befriend people younger than me because I felt threatened by the maturity of people bigger than me and even older than me. But you know what? Now I've changed. I still size people up when I see them. But I don't care if I don't have apples or melons. I have kiwis now. And you know what? They're perfect.
There is that in me. I do not know what it is, but I know it is in me. Wrenched and sweaty, calm and cool, then my body becomes, I do not know it. It is without name. It is a word unsaid. It is not in any dictionary, utterance, symbol. It is not chaos or death. It is form, union, plan. It is eternal life. It is happiness.
Everybody plays the fool sometimes. There's no exceptions to the rules. If most people play the fool, then my decisions makes me an insane clown. The makeup I wear, it hides my tears, my fears. My lack of faith. Yet, I dance and I prance before an audience of one, just like you, pulling my greatest tricks and stunts, unsurprised by your actions. You only laugh, but not at my skill, but my lack of will to walk away from the disregard. You know, I walk on the high rope. I walk on the low with my heart drudged in tow. And you didn't want to be there. The ticket was for free. You decided to watch the show and thought it was nice, but what did it cost you? There was no sacrifice. I really wanted to be with you, but your actions told me not true. So, you know, next time, I'll try to resist your text. So you can be with someone you really want, and I won't be an afterthought. Everybody plays the fool sometimes. There's no exceptions to the rule. There's no Camelot. He told me all those familiar responses of a one-way affection, that my love wasn't reciprocated. Nothing new. I found myself placing the blade back in my heart. Why did I remove it? Hoping that King Arthur had come to heal the territories? My love is too great for a mere mortal man. So I continue my life with the sharpness of the pain on the inhale and the flood of agony on the exhale. I peer at the rising and the falling of my heart, suffering as before, casting my love before an uninterested audience. You said no. An absolute no. A loud, resounding no. A door shutting, step back, no. And yet, I want to speak to you. I want to hear you. I want to hold you. I want to feel you. So where does the script go now? Has this character been killed off? Or is this the finale? Will there be a reunion to a stage that made such a mark?
Sometimes I feel like a fraud. For me, my earliest identity crisis manifested itself skin deep. Like tempestuous waves capsizing a ship, I found myself lost, sinking in a sea of self-hatred. I was drowning in a sea of pale skin, blonde hair, and blue eyes. And above me, a storming sky rained raging whispers of belittlement. The raindrops spoke to me harshly, of how my color made me less attractive, less capable, less worthy, less than. It took a hell of a lot of growing up to realize that this was the expectation. To realize that this gut-wrenching feeling of self-hatred was the intention. And so, with renewed vigor, I kicked and clawed my way back to the surface of that sea. That figurative sea which had been haunting me for so long. I broke the surface, and when I did, I immediately felt the weight of the water lift from my shoulders and the whispers of the raindrops run from my ears. I had overcome the urge to relinquish power to the submerge. The second, like its father, was second only in the nature of its order. The magnitude of this crisis seemed to swallow me whole, depositing me deep inside the belly of a beast whose innards stripped me raw until I was bathing in my own. All that I was, all that I had ever been, laid bare before me. And it was then that I came to realize I recognized none of it. Remnants of a stranger surrounded me, sloshing around the belly of that beast, turning everything a deep red of unfamiliarity. I was suddenly filled with a conviction unlike any I'd ever known. Whoever this was, she was not me. And I had never been her. And so, I traversed the beast, feeling its heartbeat as heady as my own when the rhythm echoed through its aortic chambers, bathing in its breath, in time with my own, when gusts of air rattled through and filled its lungs. As I journeyed through that beast, I became new, whole, so that when I emerged from the mouth of that beast, rawness, nakedness healed, no longer was I the same. I had become comfortable with an identity of my own, one which held no respect for conformity or tolerability. I had become him. But most importantly, I had become me.
I Sing the Body Electric, I have perceived that to be with those I like is enough. To stop in company with the rest at evening is enough. To be surrounded by beautiful, curious, breathing, laughing flesh is enough. I sing the Body Electric.